Welcome back to WhoCast. Today I'm here with Victor. Victor is part of our DECA chapter here at Oakton. Basically, we're going to just get to know Victor a little bit better. So, Victor, why don't you actually tell us about your position in Oakton's DECA chapter?
So, for Oakton DECA, I'm president of Oakton DECA. I've been involved in Oakton DECA since... Oakton DECA, essentially, it's been around since... I think 2015, 2016, but during the pandemic, it just completely hit a snag, and they stopped meeting, they stopped going to competitions, and it hasn't come back since 2022 when one of my friends at the NYG actually founded the new Oakton DECA, essentially. Mm-hmm. They revived the club, they revived the club in the school with nationals, and that's why we're here now. They started in August of 2022, but I joined in October after like Fall Fest and all that. And after that, I've been just doing Oakton DECA for the past, it's been more than a year and a month, a year and 2 months, but I've been in DECA since 2021. I've been in DECA since 2021. That was my senior year in Niles North. You went to Niles North, you know about it.
Vikings.
Go Vikings.
Go Vikings. Shout out Miss Addick.
Shout out
Mr. Paul, Miss Milky.
We've done this in every episode.
Hey,
every third episode doing that. Shout out Miss Addick. Shout out Mr. Paul. Shout out Miss Milky.
Just in case they haven't seen the other ones, man.
Just in case.
You know what I'm saying?
So, I got recruited first day of school.
Yeah.
I did not know anything about business, about what I want to do with the future. But I said, yeah, let's give business a try, see where it goes. And I'm not a business major. I officially joined Oakton DECA in August of 2021. But I didn't go to any of the meetings until November, because from August to November there was my soccer season, so I was training like 5 days, 6 days a week, games and stuff, so I almost never went to the actual club. And I probably missed out on a lot, but...
It's a busy time for sure. Yeah, I get that.
Really busy time. During that time, I also I had an incubator class, business incubator with Mr. Paul. Shout out Mr. Paul again. Where we had like a starter project, and that was the project that I was actually trying to use for my DECA project. Sizer, but I ended up going to Brazil, and the internet there wasn't like the perfect, so I wasn't able to finish up my whole project. Honestly, a lot of that is on me, because instead of going to soccer, or I could spend some time from my own time instead of doing nothing at home, I could have been doing my DECA project, my DECA papers, practicing for the case study. So because of that, I didn't do a case study competition like with the judges, with the pitching an idea to judges. I did instead of that, I did the role play case studies, where they give you a case study, and what you gotta do is you have about, 10 minutes? 10 minutes to read it over, 20 minutes to talk about it with the judge, and they'll grade you on a couple standards,
They got the rubric.
Indicators, they got the whole rubric.
Yeah.
So from there, that's what I did. I did decently. I got a silver medal in regionals, and I think I got 15th place out of 50-ish in state, which is not bad.
It's not bad.
But I know that I could have done better, especially because the fact that I didn't do my project because of the time that I was spending playing soccer or just doing nothing at home.
Yeah.
So, but I definitely could have done better. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how I got into DECA. I did not know Oakton had a DECA. I thought that was over for me after state. So I just spent some time doing my own stuff, studying. But Fall Fest, I found out about Oakton DECA. I saw, damn, they have a DECA here. So I had to join. See what it was all about. I met Eti, met Waj, which were the founding members at the time. And here we are now. Now we have a podcast.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how it's been since August of 2022.
So, part of that, what's it called? I feel like you should touch more on why you're at Oakton as a school, kind of aside from DECA. So what made you decide to come to Oakton instead of a four-year university?
So, I lived most of my life in Brazil, immigrant. I got here end of sophomore year. I think it was 2 days before everything shut down. I even visited like District 219. I was gonna start on the Friday that everything shut down, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
So that didn't happen. I spent a year. I swear to God, I spent a year without any social interaction with like people in America, except for like my family. So I spent all that time without knowing anyone, which is kind of crazy. We did then sophomore year, junior year. What's crazy that junior year, I actually heard about a DECA. I went to like one DECA meeting, but I remember nothing from it. I have no recollection of it. I just know that I went to one, but I didn't think much about it. I just completely forgot about it, honestly. So I just did my own thing for junior year, played some soccer. Senior year, like I told you earlier, that's when I really started like picking up and knowing like I gotta go. Next year I'm not gonna be at Niles North. Next year I'm gonna go to college. So that's when I kind of figured out that I gotta start researching. I gotta start doing my stuff. So, cause I didn't get kids here get college advice since elementary school. They start getting prepared for college since elementary school, since like 5th grade, and I didn't get that. So I had a lot of my stuff was up until in person was DIY, but we had a lot of support from like College and Career Center. Shout out Miss Lee, shout out Miss GS.
Shout out Miss GS too. Yeah.
Facts. I used to live in her room every single day. I used to live in the College and Career Center every single day for my study hall, for my lunch, maybe for my 6th period, but we don't talk about that. But just playing catch up essentially, because we only started thinking about college in America sophomore year, because when I was living in Brazil, I thought so in Brazil the system is where you gotta do a couple tests. In my city there's only like 2 or 3 decent universities that they're all like government ran.
Yeah.
So you need to do like good on like a standardized test that has like, I think it's 150 question, no more than that, 150 questions, 200-ish in 2 days, plus an essay. At the time that I was living there, it was everything in 1 day. You had to do everything in 1 day.
So it's kind of like an SAT but worse.
SAT but worse. SAT on steroids, basically.
Pretty much.
But you can't do it until next year. So you can only do. They actually did it in Brazil maybe a week, 2 weeks ago. Every November they do it, and I was thinking, yeah, this is what I got to go for, I guess. I did not know what major I was gonna go in. So in Brazil, there's a running joke that we say that if you don't know what major you go in, just say business. Yeah, just say business, and maybe you'll be like, maybe you'll get like some desk job or something at like a gym or something. But yeah, I didn't know what I was really gonna do professionally until I actually got to America, and especially after I started going to DECA. That's when I really started picking up. So going back to your question, because we kind of went out a little bit.
Yeah.
I applied to 30 colleges.
30? Wow.
I still have the spreadsheet. I applied to 30 colleges, and colleges that I probably visited maybe 3 of these out of the 30.
3 to 4. I mean, you just applied just for the sake of applying.
Yeah, I just applied for the sake of applying because I would get free lunch, so I had the fee waivers. So I was like, you know what? I applied for every single one of these colleges. 32 actually.
Yeah, why not?
And why not? I got accepted into some of them, because my GPA wasn't that good because they didn't consider some like grades from Brazil as like A's, B. They just considered it as like P's, pass fail. So that didn't count for my GPA.
Yeah.
And my junior year wasn't that great. I had like, I'd say more C's than A's. So I think I had a maybe 1.8 or something like that junior year.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up graduating with a 2.8, which is not bad. I did a couple APs and stuff, but I had final 5 colleges. Out of these 32 colleges, I went down to 5. It was DePaul.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get accepted into UIC, so Loyola, but I didn't get accepted into Loyola. I got accepted into Arupe, which is like their own community college.
Yeah.
So Arupe, National Louis, North Park, and Northeastern. So it was these 5 options.
Mm-hmm.
I went to DePaul. I checked out the campus, really nice. DePaul is a really nice campus. Same with Arupe. Arupe is like in the city, really nice, on Grand Street. Not on Grand Street, in that area like River North.
Yeah.
Same with National Louis is Michigan Avenue.
Yeah.
Michigan Avenue, they have nice views of like Millennium Park, nice college.
Mm.
Same with Northeastern. Northeastern has like a high schoolish vibe, similar to Oakton, but they're a university. I got friends there, and North Park, which is right across the street. So both. I was living in Skokie at the time, like closer to Old Orchard Mall, and North Park and Northeastern. I had to take 3 buses to get there, 3 or 4 buses to get there. So that was kind of that was a really hard commute. So it was kind of hard for me. So they were kind of like outish, but they had like the best deal. They gave me the best deal.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had DePaul. DePaul wasn't that terrible. I would just take maybe 1 or 2 trains and get there, but my tuition was $20K.
That's a lot of money.
So I was like, nah, I don't want to do this. We just got to America. We're a year and a half into America. I don't want to put that burden on my family. So that was kind of out. So what was left was National Louis. National Louis was good, but same with National Louis and Arupe, they were too far. Because at the time I was working at Sunglass Hut at Old Orchard Mall, and I was probably doing full time at the time. Some weeks I'll do full time. There was weeks where I would work 70 hours a week. I'm not even kidding.
That's a lot.
70 hours a week during the summer. Yeah. During the summer, where people like crowding, and usually I'll be like the only person there. Maybe there will be 2 people there. So I thought, I don't wanna quit my job because I gotta help my family. Gotta help pay the rent, that kind of stuff. Gotta help out my family here in Brazil. So I was like, no, I don't wanna try going to downtown. So my only option would technically be North Park and Northeastern, which did give me good scholarships. But then I talked to Coach Brody here at Oakton. I was interested in getting into soccer, so he showed me a tour. Of the building, of the planes. First time I went to Oakton. When I came here, I was like, you know what? Let me try this out. I'm gonna go here. I ended up not going for soccer because I was still working, that kind of stuff, but I was still able to do a lot of things like DECA, for example. I was able to join Trio, and I got a good deal for Oakton. And when I lived in Skokie, I would only take both when I lived in Skokie and now that I live in Evanston, I take 2 buses. That's it. Usually 45 minutes commute, which isn't too bad.
Yeah.
And when I drive, on a good day it can be 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was a really good deal for me. I just couldn't refuse it.
For sure, I get that. What's it called? I feel like, the story of you obviously wanting to support your family, things like that. A lot of people can definitely relate to that, especially in our community at Oakton.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? I think we were saying in the last episode, Oakton has such a wide, range of people here, and there's a race diversity, age diversity, you know what I mean, things like that. It's like people of all backgrounds, are really, like, what's it called, all like at Oakton.
Definitely,
So,
and especially like immigrants, people that are new to the country, they can't afford going to like a bigger school, so they come here, which isn't bad. That's kind of like a start for their education, and from here, I learned so much from here. I did, especially in DECA, I was able to like do LinkedIn. I ended up getting internship at Genesis. Shout out Genesis. We did a lot of different stuff. We did Decadent Delights for hot chocolate. We had a lot of guest speakers here, especially in the past year. We had Professor Bruce Miller, amazing. You'll meet him. We want to have him in the podcast sometime.
Yeah,
Professor Miller,
sure.
if you're watching, let us know. He's been in business for a long time. Dean Batista, who's dean of the business department. We have our Professor Randy. He's really, really experienced. We have had Paul Adams. Paul Adams has a lot of experience in PR and marketing. We've had Northwestern Mutual come in. We've had a lot of different people, honestly. We've had Professor David Lewis. He's worked in Europe a lot, Switzerland. He's worked with Bath and Body Works, a lot of different companies. So in Oakton, especially if you're a business student, but not even if you're a business student, any kind of student, but I'm saying business because that's my area. There's a lot of professors that have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience in your field. Just talk to them and see how it goes. Learn about your professors, because a lot of them are extremely successful. A lot of them have had a really, really long career, really successful career. They have a lot of connections, and from there you have your doors open to get internships, to meet people that can hire you, meet a potential business partner, potential venture capitalist, investor, and if you want to start a company, for example. So I think that a lot of times just knowing, not in a transactional way, but just getting to know the person helps out a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Touching on what we said about professors earlier, there's actually a lot of professors at Oakton. Some people know this. I feel like most people do, right? That the professor that you may have probably teaches at another university as well.
Definitely.
So, that kind of networking is kind of, important, because those professors have experience obviously teaching a different crowd. Maybe they taught out of state for some time. Maybe they taught at a really big university and came here, kind of just like a little bit of an easier job closer to home. So there's really a lot of opportunity, for business students and non-business students alike at Oakton.
Definitely, especially when you have something like DECA, for example, where you can make connections, you go to these events, you go to meet other people, and later on we're gonna start like developing things like before the competition, LinkedIn's, knowing how to pitch. We plan to have something similar to a pitch competition here, where we'll pitch like our ideas, our projects in front of the judges. We'll have judges here, and that's good not only for just career development, but for life.
Yeah.
You need to learn how to talk to people. A lot of people nowadays don't know how to talk to people. You need to know how to just present yourself, market yourself. Like, for example, I'm not gonna lie to you, I had a bad accent until senior year maybe, but the way that I did it, I would force myself to speak similarly to how I speak now.
Yeah.
But I would just skip like words a lot, like.
Yeah.
And DECA helped me with that. DECA Business Incubator class helped me a lot with that, because a lot of times I would speak it like, I would have a really rough accent. A lot of people wouldn't even be able to understand me.
Yeah.
But after I started not only socializing with people, but in a way I also forced the accent a little bit to come.
Yeah.
Before it actually came, possibly because a lot of people have difficulties with that, and not just losing their accent, accent isn't the problem. The problem is articulation.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that have accents, which is okay to have an accent.
Of course.
But are extremely articulate.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of people that were born here and don't have that articulation. So I think that DECA, business club, these kinds of business clubs, and even just working at Oakton, even just like joining the social life at Oakton, it helps a lot with just being more articulate, knowing how to market yourself better. Because if you can market yourself better, if you can market yourself at a college, you can market yourself anywhere. Because a college is a very competitive place. Even a smaller place like this might not seem like it, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of like internship opportunities. There's a lot of hidden opportunities that only few people are able to find. Speaking of internships, there's a lot of internships. There's the internship department. They can hook you up with internships. They can hook you up with internships in a lot of really big companies. There's Abbott, for example, the laboratory company, the medical company. They can try getting an internship there, for example.
Yeah.
There's tax firms. There's law firms. You can get internship as a paralegal internship. There's a lot of different internships and opportunities that you can get, but you barely realize that they exist. Only like if you dig deep enough, you can find it. And not only at Oakton, even the bigger schools.
Everywhere.
Trust me, but very few people go to the DePaul internship or career center, UIC career center, UIC internship department, or any other school. No, only very few people know, and that's how you get advantage. That's how you get that advantage in this competitive market.
The awareness is key.
Exactly.
Sure.
And in Portuguese, we got this phrase that it's "Quem não é visto não é lembrado." If you're not seen, you're not remembered. And that's 100% true.
That's very true. All right, Victor, is there anything you want to share about yourself before we close this out?
Honestly, I've shared a lot, but I think that I'd say that people in community colleges, they have a better opportunity than a lot of people in four-year colleges. Especially because the time, like we were talking about in previous episodes, they have a lot of time in their hands because they'll drive 15 minutes and come here, go back home instead of being in their dorm, instead of commuting an hour into the city, for example. So I just say take this time to learn, to grow a lot, because this might be the best time in your life to learn, to grow, especially not only for young people, but even if you want to change your career, just by being a community college, you have a lot more time than most other people, and especially if you're an immigrant, because if you're an immigrant, there's a lot of like grit with immigrant people. Like they want to have their lives completely different from what it was in their home country. Sure. They're hungry for success. Like for example, I live in like the periphery of my city in Brazil, and my city isn't like a main city. My city is like in the more marginal part of the country, and I live in the periphery of that city, so we didn't have that much opportunity. I was able to go to private school because my mom would teach, so I'd be able to get like scholarships. But even most people at that time, there wouldn't be a DECA at those kinds of schools. Even the best schools in my city, there wouldn't be a DECA. There wouldn't be an internship department. There wouldn't be a college and career center. There would be internships, but not too many. There would be not as much as we have like here, you know. So this is kind of the opportunity that you can take to just be successful and create the life that you want. I'm not there yet. I'm not an amazingly successful person, but most people aren't. But as long as you have that want, that hunger for success, you can definitely do something really good with your life.
You can do anything, yeah. There's so much opportunity, you know. When you really want something, you can definitely make it happen. And, you know, a place like Oakton will really help you because, you know, it's in the name, it's for the community. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Victor, I really appreciate the time that you spent with us.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate your insight for sure. you know, obviously me knowing you from high school to college, you know what I'm saying? You know, doing DECA, it's definitely a different experience. But, you know, I think you're very fit to be a president for sure. So, yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, man.